Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvisha vahaihi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Guru Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurureva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapiyat Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshidam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tvameva Mata cha Pita Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva. Now we 95th. Aje samme tu ye kejir bhavishyanti sunishchidaha tehi loke mahatjnanaha taccha loko nagahade. So, nagahade, they don't enter into that state which is achieved by one who have the Advaita Nishtha. Nishtha here, aje samyetu ekejit bhavishyanti sunishchidaha. They who are well determined about the state of Advaita and are established in it. Nishtha means nischalena tishtadi iti nishtha. So one who is established in this Advaita philosophy, aje samye, and understand that the jivas are not really there, it is only an appearance, and in itself, if you are seeing, you can see it only in the adhishtanam, which is the Paramartha Satyam, and hence that also is Paramartha only. The picture, the bird that you see in a canvas is nothing but the canvas, not the bird. Bird is only a namaruba in the embroidery, but bird is not what you are seeing. What you are seeing is the canvas. So everywhere, in that tree, in that bird, in that little boy who is standing under the tree, in the tree, of the picture, of the embroidery, what you see is only the canvas. You understand? So what is the satyam of all this perception? The satyam is it not? The canvas in which you are seeing. Just like the TV screen is the satyam of all the pictures that you see in it, of all the heroes and heroines and the villains, and everybody is nothing but a piece of that screen. Can you imagine that? Now you understand why this samyada has to be understood. The good man and the bad man and the criminal and the saint are all only a piece of that piece. You should not say Akhanda Sachidananda Surupa. It is nothing but this is the canvas. This is the screen in which you are seeing various pictures. Some crying, some laughing, some mad. Everything you see there. But there is no such being at all. There is only the appearance of a hero, the appearance of a the villain, the appearance of a heroine, the mother, the father, everything are nothing but the adhishthanam, which is the screen in a TV show. So also here, if that example is understood, it is very easy. Ajay Samye. In that adhishthanam you are seeing a jiva, and that jiva also is samyam, ajam, ekejid. This advaita nishtha, yatra yatra mano yadi, tatra tatra samadhayaha. That advaita nishtha, bhavishyanti sunishchidaha. It happens to people who have well understood. Sunishchidaha means who have well understood this Advaita Tattvam. They see, their vision is like that. Whatever I see is only a piece of Brahman. Like that we see. They are the people who have known this. Niradishya Satyam, that is Brahman. They are the people who see it, and ordinary people, Samanya Buddhis, who have never thought about anything, who are only living like a ordinary being in the world, eat, drink, make merry, die. That type of people, they cannot understand this great state to which one can rise. He said there, Samanya Buddhi, they cannot understand. That is Paravidya, and he is liberated from the need from others' appreciation, because nothing can be gained by anybody's appreciation in this. I have realized, I never go about take a drum and say I am now realized yesterday at what time? At that in the night, 12 o'clock in the night I realized. Nobody, only fools will talk. Because it is never, you have forgotten the time. You cannot even remember at what time you went off to sleep. Suppose I tell you today, you tell me at exactly what time you went to sleep. How can you say, I got into the bed at such and such a time? But when I went to sleep, you don't know. Why? Because sleep is a timeless state. And this realization is also timeless state. How will I know when you went into realization? So anybody who says at 12 o'clock I realized Brahman, then you understand? He has not realized. How can you attribute time to a timeless experience, a voiceless experience? No word can fit in there. That is the problem. No word can fit in. Okay. So then he says here, Ajay Samyetu ye bhavishyanti sunishchidaha tehi loge mahajnanaha. They are the great who had attained that jnanam. What we talk about, the highest jnanis, mahatmas. When we say mahatjnanis, they are tacha logo nagahade. And for them, they do not enter into the world of a common man, samanya. Samanya there means a common person who doesn't know much. He is just living like a bird or an animal, or in that way they are living. Never. What is the difference that between a human being and a tiryag? Is that you have got the reasoning power. That is why Bhagwan never said what you should do or should not do. I am giving everything. You can damn yourself. That type of things I am giving you. You can also raise yourself to be a god. That also I am giving you. What you choose is your problem. I am not interested in what you choose. Suppose you choose to go down, live like an animal. The choice is yours. Or you raise yourself to that highest state where you are not different from the Lord. That Brahman. This choice is yours. This choice is only for human beings. Because they only have that this type of a subtle instrument called the intellect. Reasoning capacity is there. So, why am I suffering like this? You yourself are responsible. Have you understood this very well? For other creatures, they don't have this freedom. They are born a cat. It has to live a cat's life, all its living. While it is living, it is a cat only. And it will behave like a cat. It will, everything will go on according to a cat's program. In that big computer, there's a programming. According to that, it will live. Even its babies are born at a particular time, not any time. That again is human only is allowed that. The reproduction also has got some time because they cannot think for themselves. That is why they cannot think for themselves. So it is determined by nature. Because if the little ones come very soon, then the other babies will die. So, in order to prevent all that, nature has made provisions. So, when the cat's baby is born and it is 3 months or 4 months old, and then it can eat by itself, it can walk around, it can find its prey, then only the next set of babies will be born. Who is telling them? Nobody is telling them. That is determined by the all-knowing, programmed. Have you noticed all this in nature? Wonderful is nature. But their nature, there is no change at all. The bees built the beehive thousands of years ago. Same way. Nothing has changed. They didn't find new engineers, new architects, nothing. Why can't you make a better beehive? At least you can protect yourself from the rain. They can't. They won't understand you. The weaver bird, it makes the nest the same way. That is nature. In nature, everything is programmed. In man, that capacity, that freedom is given to you. You choose. You are an intelligent creature, roof and crown of creation. You choose what is best for you, what is best for the society, but what is best for your progeny. Everything you have to choose. This choice we should not misuse. Because we misuse it, we are suffering. Is it understood? I can elaborate on it, but I don't want to. You elaborate in your mind. Okay? Ajeshu ajamasang asankrantam dharmeshu jnanamishyate yado nukramade jnanam asangam tena kirtidam. Wait a minute. 95. I know. In the 95th verse, what I have written, I didn't read to you. In the Acharya here praises the learned. In 95th verse, they alone possess the highest wisdom who have knowledge of Brahman without distinctions, a firm conviction without non-apprehension or misapprehension. That is the real wisdom. The track of one who has known reality is not traceable. Previously it is said, it is not traceable like the marks of the footprints of birds flying in the Akasha. In the same way, you cannot know the track of one who has reached that higher state. You cannot retrace it. You cannot see it because it is not available for us. Only because they have written some books and some some thoughts about their experience divine, that we know at least this much. Otherwise we cannot know. But in reality they cannot explain to you what is that state. All Gurudev used to say, it is like a student's notebook where there are more gaps than matter. The Upanishads we call is like that, because it is the experiences of the great masters and they cannot explain it properly. So when we read it, it is all some confusion. And without a teacher, without a bhashya, you cannot understand it at all. You understand that? Because it is something about personal experience. It is not a data of a object outside you. It is you yourself, and it is very difficult to explain. Hence, it is all Upanishads are written in dots and dashes, Gurudev will say. Dots and dashes to be filled up by the teacher later, and then again to read and understand by yourself and practice. When you start practicing seriously, what happens? Now and then you get some window peeps there. Otherwise you cannot. The insights will come to you. That insights are very important for a seeker. If you think you can get it from books, you are mistaken. Even you cannot get it from CD, GD and all. Then from where you get it? By my own effort, I come to get little glimpses of it. That alone can inspire you to live this life. You understand? That alone, because that indications, what do you call the, Wordsworth calls it? Intimations of immortality. This word he uses in his poem, very beautiful poems Wordsworth has written. You will get, the persisting man will get intimations of immortality from the higher, which we call insights. And unless you are available and you are struggling towards it, how will you get? So, if you think this is like learning mathematics or physics or chemistry, even mathematics, our students by heart it and omit it there. That is not the way mathematics is studied. Any science for that matter, unless you think, it is not yours. So also here, if you don't think about these things, they are not going to be, you can write a beautiful essay, but nothing else. It doesn't go further in your inside. You will not understand it. Understanding comes by the insights. So he says, it is otherwise like trace, it is not traceable like the marks of the footprints of birds flying in the sky. And the 96th verse says, Logo nagahade. There you never, the persons in the ordinary man, in the man of the world can never understand what you are experiencing. They cannot enter into that world of yours. You understand? You see their world as mithya. But they do not see your realistic world. They cannot see. The ordinary man cannot see. You cannot see their world. There is a verse somewhere in Gita. That man for whom it is night and Ya Nisha Sarva Bhudanam. That verse, Ya Nisha Sarva Bhudana. What is night for all Buddhas? That is waking state for the Jnani. And what is waking state for the Jnani is Nisha. Darkness for the common man. Meaning thereby what he sees, he does not see. What they see, he does not. He sees it, but he knows it is all unreal. Ya pashyati sapashyati. Whoever sees that, he alone sees. Okay. Ajeshu asankrantam dharmeshu jnanamishyade. That is called asankrantam, pure consciousness of the separate entities, the dharmas, the jiva. Yado nakramade jnanam asangam tena kirtidam. So, to be itself unborn, unrelated to any of the external objects, the essence of the separate entities, asankrantam, it doesn't move. Jnana sankramam. There is, this jnanam does not include this world of mithya. There is no jnana sankramam, means that not the jnanam of a mithya world, but jnanam by itself, pure consciousness. There is no consciousness of something, but consciousness by itself, where there is no sankramam. Sankramam means going from one to the other. Is not there. That jnanam is, I know myself in myself. I don't know myself in something else. That is called sankramam. You understand? That is not there. Yado nakramade jnana sangam tena kirtidam. Jnanam asangam tena kirtidam. And hence, jnana sankramam does not take place, and no raga towards any namarubas, the same homogeneous consciousness. Hence, since there is nothing else which it is illuminating, actually you have to go to that knowledge. It does not come in and go out of Atman like an attribute as believed by the Nayayikas. Here he is rejecting the Nayayika Vada that Atman possesses illumination. We say Atman is Swayam Jyodisha. It doesn't possess, it itself is illumination. Can you make out the difference? It does not possess any quality. Sarva guna vihina it is. Is it not? Now it doesn't possess any quality. It doesn't even possess the quality of illumining the objects. Because illumination is its very nature. If there is consciousness, I am bound to know. Suppose I am conscious, then I can see you all sitting here. I can see what all you do, what all... Whether you are sleeping or awake or very rapt, everything we can see. Is it not? This jnanam takes place. Why? Because I am capable of illumining the objects and all their actions. You understand this? The illumination is not a quality. That is what the 96th verse says. There is no sankramam like an attribute. It is not an attribute and moves from one object to another. Or, this is the vada of the Nayayikas. The unborn and unmoving Paramartha Tattvam is like the sun with heat and light. The sun also you cannot say it is morning, your poor sun is 365 days, 24 hours he is employed. You cannot say there is no employment. He is sitting in one place only, let us say. He is in the middle of this planetary system. And he is sitting there and all other planets are moving around it. He is not doing anything. He is no sankraman there. He sits there. And when whatever comes in front of him gets illumined, they get heat, they get light. Now you cannot say the sun is giving them heat and light. And that is his job. In the morning he should start with a big bucket of heat and another big bucket of light, and he is going round the world giving everybody little. Very gross intellect that is. Then what is happening? It is illumination itself. When it comes, everything under its boundaries get illumined. It has no special like for anybody. Does it? It doesn't say this is a temple, so I will put some more light for that. And this is a mosque, so I'll put a little less light. See the beauty of Vedantic thought. You cannot make any difference. And that is called Sankramam. You understand? You move from one to another and according to measure you give knowledge. That jnanam is not, what to say, in measured quantities. The jnanam is equal. I know, I see, I can experience many things, but I do not. It is not my job. Wherever consciousness is, there knowledge will take place. This is all. That knowledge is not moving from one thing to another. Everything is illumined in its presence. In esya sannidhi matrena. By its mere presence it illumines the whole world. Why? Because it is a source of great light. This verse is a bit difficult, so you have to think more. In other words, you think about the sun, and similarly, as sun is a source of illumination, and it is not a job for the sun. Similarly, knowing is the nature of the consciousness, and it is not that consciousness has a quality called knowing. That jnanam which is sankrantam, which changes from one thing to another, is not its nature. It is not its nature. Then what it is? It itself is illumination. That is, when you go closer and closer, there is nothing else to explain it by also. So you find it, words are insufficient. It says here, that one, the sun with heat and light, Paramartha Tattvam is like the sun with heat and light in it, which cannot enter into other things. That is, it is asangaha like akasha. Asangaha, akasha tulyam. It is not going from one object to another, the consciousness. The consciousness knows everything because its swabhava is knowing. It doesn't have any likes or dislikes. Just as I told you, this is the light, the sun's light does not say, I will not illumine all these mudhas. I will only illumine the bright people. It didn't say. Anybody who comes under the sun will be blessed by his light. Is it not? Anybody who comes under consciousness will be blessed with knowledge. And they don't make a difference. That sankrama there means only by he is not affected by what he sees. That's all you can say. In the real meaning we cannot get. That he sees everything, but he is not affected by that knowledge. Which knowledge? The knowledge of the world, the waking world or whatever world. He is not affected because it is not his problem. Asangaha. Like the tree is asangam. Tree sheds its shade. Don't say, no, don't come under my shade. You are a bad boy. Go from there. No, tree never says. Everybody is welcome. Even murderer is also welcome and to sit under the tree and rest after the heinous job he does. Tree never says anything. There is no sankramam. It doesn't make a difference between the objects that it sees. Similarly, consciousness does not say, I am not available to you, to anybody. I am available to everybody who comes under my purview. That way you have to understand it, which cannot enter into other things. It is asangaha. Therefore we call it asangaha. Because what it falls on, it does not distinguish or does not say, differentiate between one object and the other. Samoham sarvabhudeshu in the Gita. I am equal in everybody. Whether you are a murderer or a saint or a sage, in everyone I illumine them equally. You understand? That point is brought out, but it's very difficult to say it, so all types of things is said, and we also said. You have understood little bit at least, that it is equally available for all drishyams. Whatever is seen, everyone gets that light of consciousness. Whoever is in its purview gets that light of consciousness equally. The knowing is common to everybody. Getting affected by it is not its job. They are all in me, I am not in them. In that way, one understands. Asankrantam dharmeshu. What Gurudev says here, the Nayayikas who declare that knowledge is an attribute of the Atman and arises only when the mind comes in contact with an external object. That means it is, Nayayikas say that the mind, that is true. When it comes to the mind alone, it is available for external objects. It was the labor of the Karika to prove to us that the external world of objects is mere delusory projection of the mind. In terms of these projections, the scientific world or the world of ordinary transactions, we understand by the term knowledge only the conditioned awareness. When I am aware of a thing, I declare my knowledge of it. The possibility of the knowledge absolute by itself is not generally understood or experienced by the average man. Because of his incapacity to get himself completely detached from his own mental projections of the objectified world. The spiritual center or knowledge absolute alone is real, and the experience of a samadhi is the experience of knowing the knowledge. Objectless awareness is the self, and to come to this experience is the real success of life. The goal and the way is, when you realize the self, there are no objects to be known at all, and the witnesshood is dropped. Is it not? At that time there is no witnesshood, because nothing to witness. That state, it is just like the goal and the way. It is just like the light and the heat belonging to the sun. The unconditioned absolute knowledge itself gets shattered, as it were, to produce the multiplicity tantalized by which the ego centers make a mockery of their own godhood through sobs and sighs, laughs and dances. So this you read again and again. Third reading you will understand it. Okay? Because I also have read it. Now I read it to you again. In other words, it lends it. There is an anyonya adhyasam taking place. That anyonya adhyasam is that my knowing capacity, the Atman is talking, my knowing capacity I invest in the mind and the jiva, let us say. I am lending it. And they also give me something. What is that? All the time we say we are miserable, we are that, we are that. My sorrows I give to Atman, which is above all sorrows. Thus an anyonya adhyasam takes place. Okay, we'll leave that anyonya adhyasam there. That at the right time we have to explain that. Here you understand, what we understand from this verse is, what it apprehends in the world. There is no raga towards anything, no dvesha towards anything. No sankrama means no reaction. It illumines everything, but no reaction. The sun illumines everything, but sun is not worried. What you do with that sunlight, whether you are happy or unhappy, sun is not bothered. Sun's job is not to make you all happy or anything. It just stands in its own brilliance, its heat and light. If you are taking it and becoming happy, be happy. If you are the same person, some people cannot stand the sun. They get all types of, some rash and all. So what to do? That is their problem, not sun's problem, is it not? Sun says, I God giving light. How it affects you is your problem. Okay, that we have to understand. The same homogeneous consciousness, no raga towards any namarupas particularly. Hence it doesn't go from object to object. And it is homogeneous, hence asangam. It's equally distributed in everything. That light of consciousness is equally distributed. But it is not having any sangam. What is the theory? Asparsha yogam. He is talking about nothing is touched by the consciousness. What it knows, the jnaya vastus are not touched by the consciousness. But consciousness gives the capacity to know the worldly objects. That is all. It's a bit a complicated verse. Okay? So you have to read it again and again. Anumatre vaidharmyam jayamane vipaschidaha asangada sada nasti kimudavaranachudihi. Even if there is further, there are 97. When the ignorant, that is a person without discrimination, believes that arises the slightest difference, either internal or external in Atman, that it does not attain to the state without attachment, much less can he have the removal of the veil, the destruction of the bondage. Udaram antaram kurude tasya bhayam bhavati. The Upanishad says like that in this stand there should not be even a little doubt. If you have a little doubt, you will never know that, and when you don't know that, you are filled with fear. Why? Because that is of the nature of abhayam. Brahman is of the nature of abhayam. So how do you know that I have still not reached? Having reached, then you have no fear. You only sit and write down how many fears you have. Lot of fear is there. What I have, I should not lose. What I don't have, I have a fear that I may not live to attain it. I am afraid of death. I am afraid of disease. I am afraid of losing my near and dear ones. I am afraid of 100,000 things. Why? Because we are still on the path, not reached there. When you reach there, all fear leaves you. Because there is no raga and dvesha towards anything in the world. So in that state, you are not afraid for anybody. You are not even afraid for your own body, because the body is also not. So why should I be afraid? The consciousness, it has neither death or birth or disease. Anamayaha, Shashwadaha, such words are used in the Shruti. So, I am having some disease. Who has disease? Body has. Anyway, body has to get some disease, to die. How else it can die? Nowadays, you don't allow it to die also. All the time taking medicines. I keep on telling, I won't take any medicine. But who will allow? Because naturally you must die. I feel like that. We must die naturally. No, we don't allow to die anybody in this 21st century naturally. we will torture it with, and if a last minute when you should be with your near and dear ones, they'll put you in the ventilator. Nothing can be worse. My brother-in-law who died of cancer, he was a cancer surgeon himself. He wrote a letter and kept for his wife, saying, in case of my disease becoming and I cannot talk to you or I am unconscious, don't ever put me in the ventilator. Yeah. And he died without going to ventilator or ICU or that. He just died. One night he just died. Because though as a doctor he knows what is that torture in that ventilator. They will happily put you in the ventilator. They won't take you out. Even if you are dead also, they don't like to take you out. They say, you have to write and give. You can take it. That means you become responsible for the death of the person. That life support you are removed. What nonsense, So for months and days they lie in the ventilator. And the time comes we should be able to go naturally. Then only we are lucky people. That's all I can say. Anyway, so when the ignorant, a person without discrimination believes that there arises the slightest difference, either internal or external, then what happens? It does not. That there is some difference in Atman, I can see. One dot. If you find a difference in the Atman, not as the Ajam, Samyam, Shashwata, all that, those words, but there is something which is of this level. If you say so, then bhayam will come to you. You will be in fear. He says, without that, much less can you will never know, you will never attain to that state of pure consciousness, and with much less can he remove the veil from his own understanding. The destruction of the bondage will not happen. Bondage itself is enough. If you say there is little bondage, not much. Some people say like that. I have given up all thoughts of my mind. I don't have anything to do with anything in this world. I am free from all desires, free from all fears and all, they will say. But this little weakness. What is that? My youngest child. That is my weakness. Finished. That is what he says, Udarangu, Antaraku. That one little weakness will destroy your peace, will destroy your tranquility. Like that, all of us have something which we are attached to. Though we may pretend, when you come here, you can pretend, nobody knows anyway. Nobody knows anyway your weakness. In the house, they will know. So, sometimes the wife will say, we know your Vedanta and all. What you are, I know, she will say. Don't pretend to me. That is true. Is it not? Here we are all going to be realized because nobody knows anything. So sometimes I wonder whether these camps are helping you to only escape from whatever you are. Udaram andaram kurude. At least ladies I know. They tell me very plainly. We don't have to cook from morning till evening. We are very happy here. Whatever, whether the food is good or bad, it comes on the table. About men, I don't know. Then say, ask yourself, do I want that and that alone? To such only it will come. That's what in the Gaudapadas, the Rishi says, those who choose me. Me means the Atman, the self, against all the temptations of the world. To him, I reveal my identity. I reveal my true nature. So, have you left everything? Is there no temptation in this world? Have you become a total Vairagi? And you say, I want you and you alone, do we say to the Lord? Or to Atman? Atman, for the Vedanta, Atman is the Lord, is Brahman, is Bhagavan, is everything. Andaryami, we say so many things. Are we capable of saying it? If you are capable of saying it, not only saying it, meaning it. Merely saying, what is the use? You mean it, then you are not far away. Have you understood now? You are not far away. Because Vairagyam has become ripened. Not because you don't like anything in this world, it's out of hatred you don't want anything here. No. Out of understanding. That's totally different. Out of that knowledge, I don't go run after these perishable and perishing things of the world. I want that imperishable Akshara. That. Only to such people of Shraddha, I reveal my own self. Tanu, my own body, it doesn't have any body, but the meaning is body there. I reveal myself, we can say. Okay, now continuing. Alabdha varana sarve dharma prakriti nirmalaha adau buddhasthada mukta buddhyade idi nayakaha. What is it said there? Alabdha avarana. Alabdha avarana, who have no avaranas, who have no veils. Alabdha avaranaha sarve dharmaha, all the jivas from what is alabdha avarana? What avarana means? With what is covering you? What is that drishti which is covering you? Paramartha drishti is covered by my avarana. I myself have put. See, when you are looking at the sun and you cover yourself, this is avarana. I cannot see the sun. Similarly, I have put covers between my eyes and what I want to see. If I have put an avaranam, then what happens? Avarana alabdha. There is no avaranam in him. That man who has almost reached that higher state of consciousness, there is no avaranam at all. Non-apprehension is not there. When you put an avaranam, what happens? Non-apprehension. What is the avaranam we generally put? Avidya. Avidya avaranam is. And you don't see the truth. So from the Paramartha Drishti, I have covered my vision. Okay? Sarve dharmaha prakriti nirmalaha. By nature, all these jivas are nirmalaha. They don't have any type of avaranam. They are clean. Shuddha. Visharada. Such words are used, They're pure. Jivas, Prakriti by nature, Adau Buddhas Tada, they are ever Nitya Buddhas because they were never born. They don't have it. They are only that appearing as this. This appearance only is covering them. They themselves by nature are without any cover. And they are Nitya Buddhaha, Nitya Muktaha, ever free. Adav Buddhas Tadam Buddhyanda Idi Nayakaha. Those wise people, Nayakas, there means people who are highly evolved. Nayaka there means only figurative expression. They are the wise people, those who are capable of knowing the truth. That is why Nayakaha, the word is used. They who are capable of, they are great men who can come to realize the truth because they have all the qualifications necessary to know the truth. That is alabdhavaranaha sarve dharmaha, by nature nirmalaha, adav buddha. They are, from the beginning they are nitya buddha mukta subhava. When we do puja, we say nitya buddha mukta subhavaya namaha, like that. And what are you all? Also, don't do any worship there. Nitya Buddha Mukta Swabhavaya Namaha. Like that. You put every day on your head one tulasi leaf. What is this? Nowadays you are coming with a tulasi leaf, the office will ask. This is to show that I have realized. Too much knowledge is also dangerous, Then what should be understood figuratively, that should be understood in subtle manner. You will understand it in a gross manner. That is the problem. Okay. Thus, he says there, there is no removal of the veil for the ignorant. It may imply there is some veil. For a Vedanti, for a Vedantin, there is some veil for the people who are in the field of Vedanta, which they remove by some act. Whenever say, I have to remove the veil, you come to the conclusion, there is really some veil. What veil? That we don't know. Some gossamer veil is there, which I can remove only by some act. Is it not? This is the vada that the karma vandi is always advanced. Even doing japa is a karma. How do you say there is no karma? That's how they argue. And Shankaracharya is tenacious in his arguments. What you say karma is not a karma. And there is a whole pages of Bhashya written in the various Upanishads for khantanam of karma jnana samuchayam. The karma and jnana cannot go together. Why it will not go together? Because if it is the result of some action, there is a veil in my understanding, so I have to remove the veil. Then the Atman that I am going to see is because of the removal of the veil. A moksha that is come as a result of some action is a anitya moksha. It's not true. Moksha is that I understand I am free at all times. That is moksha. But to say I have some little veil and I have to remove it by some action or by some puja or by some Bhagavad Seva or that or this, then that has a beginning. That moksha has a beginning, and that which has a beginning will have end. There is no moksha. Anirmoksha prasangam. This is called in Vedanta Anirmoksha prasangam. There is no moksha. A moksha which is bound by time. As a result, it's not hedu bala, avesham will come. Hedu is there. And if moksha is a bhala, karyakarana, sambandham will come. And Karikarna sambandha we have totally put in the waste paper basket. It cannot be that. It can never happen, he says. Atman has no veil as it is always liberated. Reply to this doubt is like that. The phrase Atma becomes the knower means that Atma has the capacity of realizing the ultimate truth. In other words, you must not take the word meaning in all these things. He becomes a Nayaka. There means he has got the ability to know the truth. He has got the qualifications necessary to make you capable of knowing the truth. And the availability to know it. These things only are meant. It doesn't mean it depends on some action. It doesn't depend on any action as such. But what about all the sadhanas? That I am not going to discuss that. That's a big vada that you have to discuss in some other situation. Maybe when you do Brahma Sutra or something. It's all very big vadas. One thing we know, a moksha which is the result of some action cannot be real moksha. A moksha which is not because of something, but in spite of all the problems that I face, I know myself, that is moksha. That is real moksha. Otherwise it is not. It all depends on so many other factors, and that other factors are all mithya. And hence that moksha also is mithya. Is that clear? That we have to understand from this ultimate truth of realizing that ultimate truth. Atma becomes the knower. Atma is the witness. They are all Gauna Shrudis. How can Atma become the witness? It doesn't have any work said before. Now you are saying Atma is a witness. How can it be? So it is going on watching everybody. So he has got a watchman's job. At least night watchman has got only night watch. Poor Atma has 24 hours, 365 days, watchman. You understand? Not like that. Then what it is? If they are there, it will be, he will become, you are calling him a witness, he is not calling. Because he is all knowledge, in that knowledge they are illuminated. You understand? It is not that Atman is going with a torchlight to see all of them. No. Samarthaha, Nayaka, in Vedanta, all are Adibuddhas like Surya shines and the immovable mountains are standing. Atman Buddhyade. It has got that Bodha Shakti. Bodha Shakti means ability to know. It has got Bodha Shakti. That's all it means. Adi Buddhas. And the immovable mountains are standing. Atman Buddhyade. Bodha Shakti Swabhava. So by this you must understand. When you say witness, it does not mean he has been employed by somebody. Who will employ? Atman. Nobody has employed him like a watchman. You understand? If the objects come before it, it gets illumined. It gets illuminated. He is not going in illumining them. Hey, who is there? And it doesn't illumine. Whoever comes in front of him gets illuminated. These verses are all very difficult. I am trying to make it simple for you, but you have to go on thinking about it. And the real nature of the Atman is inexplicable. Hence, all teachers find it difficult. It tires the brain. It's a strain on the intellect. So we can't help it. And if you didn't understand, I will not blame you this time. Other times I will blame you. Shraddha is not there. Okay. Then he says, alabdhavarana sarve dharmaha prakriti nirmala adav buddha sada mukta buddhyade idi nayagaha. Just as we say, the sun is rising, the hill is standing, like that, the Atman is knowing everything. Its nature is knowledge. Continuing, now just as it is only a way of speaking, basically. It's only a way of speaking. Atman is knowing and all. If you say, it doesn't mean it becomes a knower, but it has the capacity to know anything that comes in its shade. This much only you have to understand. More than that, you cannot think at this moment. But later on it will be able to know that whether it is absence or presence, whether it is light or darkness, whether it is knowledge or ignorance, whatever it is that you are illumining, you have no participation in it. They get illumined in your light, in the light of consciousness. So you cannot give a job to the consciousness. You can say they get illumined. That is right. Okay? Go again. Adav buddhas tadha mukta buddhyade idi nayagaha. Dreamer is capable of knowing the Vika. Is it? Dreamer knows the Vika? No, he doesn't. Dreamer cannot know the Waker. Waker can know the dreamer. Because Waker himself has become the dreamer. You understand? And when he wakes up, he knows there was a dreamer. But I don't think the dreamer knows the Waker. So, he's not interested at all in knowing dreamer. How we come out of dream, we don't know. That's another big mystery. Is it not? Everything about that sleep state and dream state is a mystery. The greatest way is passed by only Gaudapada. Nobody else had taken this for discussion. Others have taken up, merely copied from this and that. These are all areas which are not in our understanding. We are not living that. We go to the dream and come back to the waking state again. These two areas only we know. And we go to the deep sleep and forget everything. Abba, peace. We sleep. All three. Is it not? There are only three things we know. From that three things you must deduce there is something. Chadurtham manyande. Satma savijñeya. So, no matter how much we read, how much we think, the Atman is not easily available for our cognition. So, there is only one way of knowing it. And what is that? I should know my identity with that. Otherwise, we can never know the truth. Whatever else you are knowing is only through the intellect, mind, all those type of mithya things. Okay. This is the state of realization, what we are talking about now. The great masters of realization talking to us in our language of ignorance are compelled to use such optimistic expressions, what they are using here. As the jivas are capable of knowing their ultimate selfhood, it is only to give optimism to the ignorant human beings. Nothing else. They know we are weak people. So they tell us, one day you will know. Suppose I tell you in the beginning itself, you will never know. Then why should I study? You understand? So all the teachers, they encourage. With reference to the dreamer, we can say that he is capable of knowing his own waking state. I don't know how. The dreamer knows his waking state. There is something happened there. Is it not? The waker himself became the dreamer. Now the dreamer becomes the waker, and and how his own waking state, he came back to his own state. The waker ego is the dreamer. Is it not? The waker ego is the dreamer. And when you wake up from the dream, you are again the waker. That way only he is saying that you can know the waker. But actually, in my experience of dream, I never thought that the dreamer, I was not very sure. The dreamer has become waker, we didn't know. It is a transformation which takes place automatically when the dream is over. What happens there is always a mystery. Whatever it is, let it be. Kramadena hi buddhasya jnanam dharmeshu tayinaha. In this book. Tayinaha sarve dharma sthatha jnanam naidad buddhena bhashidam. So the knowledge of the realized one who is all wisdom, kramado nahi buddhasya, is ever untouched by objects. That's all. That the last line only we should know. What is that? That knowledge is never affected by the all. There is asparsham there, but never touched. The one who is all wisdom is ever untouched by the objects, hence asparsha yogam. The objects cannot touch it. All the critics as well as all the entities as well as knowledge are also ever untouched by any object. This is not and he says even the objects cannot touch it. You cannot attain that through the knowledge of the objects. Is it not? By that knowledge, this objective knowledge, it happens, but we know it's not real. It is only, a mithya knowledge. So, this is not a Buddhistic teaching, but a Vedantic teaching. Everybody was calling him a Buddhist, Gaudapada. So, in order to silence them, he writes here, Naidad buddhena bhashidam. This was never talked by Buddha. Meaning, Buddha never mentioned all this. This is Vedantic teaching, which is inferred. This is not Buddha. You are simply making an allegation, but actually, this is not from Buddhism. I might have borrowed some words from Buddhism, but I did not borrow their concepts. That's what he says. The concepts are truly Indian. It's not Buddha also is Hindu only. The concepts are not Buddha's concepts because Buddha has gone out of the traditional Hinduism. That is why I have not borrowed from his teaching, but I have borrowed the words alone. That's what he is saying. Why the words he borrowed? Because the words are relevant at that period and time. That way you have to understand. Kramade nahi buddhasya jnanam dharmeshu tayinaha. Now, in other words, he says in this stanza, Gaudapada is summarizing his entire Karika and describes the living experience of the men of wisdom as pure knowledge, wherein there are no objects and this objectless knowledge is knowledge. That is understandable. When there are no objects to be perceived and related to matras, sparshastu, kaunteya, shidoshna, sukha dukkhada. Everything happens only because of our sparsham of the matra. This is asparsha yoga. He says elsewhere. I am connecting it. It is asparsham. There is no sparsha of the objects. In this ultimate knowledge, is knowledge absolute, but this pure consciousness is like space untouched by anything that it suffers to contain in itself, by anything that it suffers to contain in itself. It doesn't allow any other object to be the what do you call woof and warp of this knowledge. That knowledge is pure. It doesn't allow the entry of objective knowledge into that. This is devoid of all objects and their perceptions. They are all removed. And what remains is the knowing principle, the Chit Swarupa Atma. By this idea of the delusory world of appearances discussed and explained in the Upanishads as the knowledge that is untouched by the objects would seemingly look like the Buddhist philosophy, which also rejects the existence of external objects other than mere ideas. But he says this is not Buddhist theory, this is also our theory. If the maybe Buddhists have borrowed from us. He didn't say it because he's a decent man. He didn't say anything about Buddhism. But he says, if anybody says, I have borrowed from that, I did not borrow anything. This is our own traditional knowledge. So the days of Sri Gaudapada were the days of Buddhistic philosophy, and as such he has to add a proviso that Vedanta is not Buddhism. That is why he said, Naidat Buddhena Bhashitam. As Sir Radhakrishnan says, he seems to have been conscious of the similarity of the system to some phrases of Buddhism, that he therefore protests rather overmuch that his view is not Buddhism. In Indian philosophy, Radhakrishnan had written the same thing, that it is only a protest that people think he is a Buddhist. Okay, it doesn't matter to us what he is, but he is very much Vedantin to us, and yet he is spoken only to us in Vedantic language. So it doesn't matter. What all knowledge currents affect our mind, we don't know. We keep on reading this and that and that and this, and everything will go into the brain. And sometimes you will be colored by what you read, what you think, your understanding. Each one will have different understanding of the same object. So that depends on the material that you have in your intellect. According to that we cannot even say the Buddhists have not contributed. They have contributed great theories to the world. So, upon this portion of the text, there is a lot of controversy and differences of opinion are expressed by the critics. Different critics have given different meanings and implications of the portion. Sri Gaudapada declares that his philosophy is not the philosophy pronounced by Buddha, according to Professor Bhattacharya. That Bhattacharya we won't read. You read if you want. Bhattacharya is a critic and he is a Buddhist. So he cannot stand Gaudapada. And he will always be, I have read some of his statements which are very funny. We will not go into it. Those type of critics, it doesn't appeal to me. If you like to read, you can read. And want to get confused, you can. Because how can I prevent? There is no, what do you call? There is no copyright for your brains with me. So what can I do? Once you have become established in the Vedantic theory of Shankara, whatever else you can read, nobody can prevent you. But let your arguments and your understanding be established in this. And from that platform you evaluate other systems. You understand? Don't try to bring in little of that, little of this, little. No sankramam there. Okay? That you will have only a bunch of confusions. Not. One system, it should be your system, whatever it is. And from that platform only you must see all the other points of view and where you agree and where you disagree. So we need not, we are not vadis. Why should we? We are only seekers of truth, not vadis. Leave it. However, metaphysically speaking, Buddhist philosophy is nearest to Advaita in its dialectics. And yet there is a soft and subtle distinction between the two, and that is the very distinction that converts the best to the incomparable, best into the incomparable. And here Gurudev is writing that Vedanta is incomparable, Buddhism is good, is best also sometimes in its dialectics. But Vedanta cannot be compared. That all inclusiveness of Vedanta makes it somewhat very superior to all other darshans. In summing up, we may say that any student of comparative philosophy who has studied the detachment and sincerity, both the philosophies, must come to the conclusion that Buddha never taught that absolute was the final reality. He never talked about the absolute. That is where we differ. He never thought of an absolute reality. He always talked about the mind, which is a relative reality. And the meditation also is only perfecting the mind. The nirvanam that he talks about is perfecting the mind to such an extent that it is made not to think at all. So what will happen? You never know. There is emptiness, they say. Then Shunyavadis were born because of it. You understand? We are not saying that these are the ultimate. Nothing here is ultimate. There is something ultimate. This ultimate reality is the truth. God is truth. That word is emphasized in Vedanta, and Vedanta is hence greater in a way. It is not giving any importance to the development. All savisheshada is there in the mind, in the intellect, in the body. Always all of us are engaged in either beautifying the body or making it more healthy, whatever. Or you will be engaged in improving the mind, controlling the mind. Thousands of ways of controlling the mind. Or you will be reading, studying. What? Improving your intellect. And what is all this? Shabda jala maharanyam chitta brahmana karanam. It will only create chitta brahmana. But Vedantic teachers like even Ramana Maharshi and all say, drop all this. They are not the truth. So whether you have a very powerful mind, doesn't matter. Do you know that? If you don't know that, it doesn't make a difference. You will be a successful man here, but not there. You have not succeeded in knowing yourself. A controlled mind is good. So we say, control the mind. Win the mind, win the world. Our Surubanda made this shlokam. Win the mind, win the world. Win the world. Understood? You can never become greater. There Buddhism stops. Never talks about God, never talks about an absolute reality. Okay. So absolute Brahma or absolute was the final reality through those such a teaching verging on the Advaita concept of an absolute Brahman or Atman is ascribed to him by different Mahayana schools of Buddhism. But Mahayana schools of Buddhism has imported some of the concepts of Advaita into Mahayana system. But that was not bhashidam buddhena. Buddha never elaborated on that. Okay. Do somewhat. Maybe it will be good if you learn about Buddhism a little bit and find out where we differ. Not necessary. It is not necessary to reach there. To reaching there is only one method, and that is dropping that which is not real. How will I reach the real? Only by dropping what is unreal. And having reached there, what it is? Buddha padamana ananatvam namaskurya. I would have taken this 100th verse also, but I have to just say the summary of the Mangalacharanam verses. There are 3 Mangalacharanam verses there. So I just read it and give you the summary. Om Purnamata Purnamidam Purna